You hear the term support and resistance very frequently on our live show. We're going to talk about some ways that you can easily identify some key levels, whether you're working on the long side or short side. We're talking support and resistance, guys. Here comes a few tips on how to make support and resistance easier.
Yeah, and I think everyone talks about it. Supply and demand rules the market, right? So you want to buy in front of support, you want to sell in front of resistance, and it seems like an easy thing in theory. In practice, it's not always that, but there are ways to make it a little bit more simple. First, identify something that's moving, and once you've done that, it doesn't really matter what the stock is. A lot of times, just using price history is significant. So what I do, and this is just something that happened to move the last couple of days, so I can quickly show you a big move up, and this happens to be a penny stock, and then a big pullback today. But it's that first big candle yesterday that I want to hone in on. Because as it moves to the upside, you're asking yourself, okay, where is support and resistance? Is it this wick here, going back to like 35 cents in December, or do I look at the last time it had a major move? And the last time it had a major move, let's highlight this, from 60 cents all the way down to 35 in just a couple of days. That is a major move. And then what happened after that? It then consolidated, and then you had a very tight range where price acceptance happened with a top of about 42. So you got about 40 to 42 cents here in this consolidation range. I then bring you all the way back to what happened in yesterday's action when it made that spike. It goes right into that level, 40 cents, could not get to the 42, and then puts in a reversal. So when you're looking for a resistance level, when a stock starts moving, go back and check a couple of things. The last time it had a big move, are there significant levels that are in play the last time it had that big move? The last time it had a big volume spike, what were those levels that were in play? Find a consolidation off of that, and then that's a good level. And you could wait for it to fail here twice. It tested it once, it tested it again, and it was about as easy a pullback trade as you're going to make looking at the chart. But you're only going to find that level if you went from your 1 minute or 3 minute looking at that day, and then going back into the daily chart and just scanning until you saw a significant event, and then it happened to work out. Guess what? If it doesn't go to that price, maybe you don't have to make the trade, but it ended up going into that resistance level identified on the daily, and then it was a clean pullback from there. So that's a little way to simplify it. Find those significant price levels on volume and volatility in the recent price history of any given stock.
I mean, I have a live example right here. We're doing it live for you right here on the show. I mean, how about DWAC? I mean, just find a name that's moving, an active name. You can check it out on the sticky note on our watch list, anything like that, and then just keep it as simple as possible. I mean, that's the point of this talk. As easy, made easy, right? So how about this? I mean, look, it comes down, it absolutely tanks. It finds a bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times here at 78. So what do, man? Is easy peasy, lemon squeezy here. You take the long and then you get out. So there it is. So we have long at 78.50. We take the smooth dollar right there. Why? Our risk reward. And that's another thing when you're talking about support resistance. Look, support's going to break, right? I mean, support's not going to hold all the time. This looks great when it works. But the thing is, if I go long at I'm long here at 78.60. So if I go long there at 78.60 and my out's going to be 78, you give a little bit of slippage. I mean, I could see here it's already 20 cents. So let's say about 80 cents worth of slippage. Well, there we go. We just took a 95-cent winner on the first half. So covering already. If it comes back down, then Bob's your uncle. We wash the trade and we're flat on it. But if it keeps on moving to the upside, this is support made simple. Take the 1-to-1 risk to reward first off your support level. If it goes, fantastic. We can have a huge win. But if it comes back down and support doesn't hold, then we get out. So that's what it is. You flip the chart back around and it's resistance, right? So I think that's pretty simple. I'm just using a 1 minute chart. You can use whatever time frame you want, but just look to see where we were on a daily chart and on a minute chart. And if it's just this simple, then take the trade. And again, try it in paper trading, be comfortable with the stock. But the one thing though, Brendan, which is always going to be true, you need to do it on names that have volume and names that are moving, because we could call up numerous charts today. There's always going to be support and resistance. But if you're the only trader looking at those levels, then hey, they probably don't matter that much. So that's my tip. Easy levels and a stock that's moving on the daily.
Love the concept of keeping it simple, not overcomplicating it, because it can get very, very complicated. Wanted to throw one more thing in at the end here. What if we remove one side of the trade entirely? So you're only then looking for key levels either on the long side or the short side. And I'm speaking of a trend. I'm going to show you a daily chart here of BKKT. This is a daily chart, remember? So this thing has been doing nothing but going straight down since November. So why are we even thinking about possibly being long this in such a severe downtrend? And then it's just as Sean was saying, they're going back out to a higher time frame, Neil, as well, and identifying key levels to join the trend. So whether you are trying to find intraday key support levels or simply just identifying a stock that is very, very strong and very, very weak, we're looking for ways to make it easier, guys. So removing even one side of a trade and just focusing on the obvious is a way to do that. Hope that helps on identifying support and resistance a little bit easier.